I'm Paul Page on YouTube, and this is GP Laps.
Back in Indianapolis. It is May, and it's the time of year that you should be in Indianapolis, so here we are, back in Indy, but this time something a little bit different. I think I was just looking back through everything I've done, and this might be the first time I've ever tried to do a Indy 500 online. Could very well be the very first. I hope you're doing well out there today. This is going to be a really short stream, or at least I hope it is a short stream. If everything goes according to plan, I'm going to run a short handful of laps and qualify for next weekend's race. So I'm trying to get into or race in the ISO Indy 500, which is a race they put on every year, I think, or the last dozen years or so with some different mods. And this year they're replicating the 1987 Indy 500. And so we try to participate in that. The ISO League is a pretty interesting league. They've wanted me to race with them for a long time, and I'm finally figured out a way that this is going to work out. It seems like a fun thing to do for this year. They're kind of doing this as a one-off and not part of a larger series or anything, so able to jump in with it. But today is qualifying, and they've been qualifying all afternoon. And how it works is every driver's got a slot, and we'll get in line to do your slot. Mine's coming up here. I should be joining the server to qualify in about 10 minutes. And what I want to do to make sure I just get a feel for this and make sure everything's working is just go out and do a mock run here. Do a quick mock run and make sure everything's good before we actually jump on the server and do it for real. Let me know how everything looks and sounds. Unlike a normal race, I probably won't be talking a lot during this because it's just going to be the 4 laps that I'll have to, hopefully get in the show. There's been a lot of quick drivers and stuff so far. But it's the average of 4 laps at Indy. This is the mock run. You can hear the turbo whistle. I'm driving a 1987 March Cosworth that Steven Chassis qualified and drove. Not exactly confidence-inspiring. I think he qualified 32nd for the 1987 race. But it's a good combo, so hopefully with some setup here, I can get it up the grid a bit. All right, we'll come out and we don't get a warm-up lap. We just jump right on it, and then it's the average of 4 laps, and hopefully can do a few good laps here. It's definitely not flat in this car with this setup, but on a very good lap, I can get about a 210, which would be good enough for the pole, but I don't think I'll be able to do quite that. So just hoping for a solid run and get it not in the middle or the back of the grid would be ideal. It's a 208.1, not too bad. Add a little rear bar here for the 3rd lap, just to get it to turn a little bit better through the corners, a bit better of a lap on lap 2. Understeer quite a lot there. Try to add a little bit more rear bar. Had to get way out of it there. Really loose on the entrance of turn 3. There we go. Not the best run, but I'd be happy with this. Not the best run. I'd be happy with that, though. Just 4 solid laps. That would certainly get me in the field. We'll have to look at where that might qualify me. We'll pull up the current statistics and everything here in a second. Just want to look. It's been a little confusion over the times and everything. They've got everybody timed to join their server. Alright, should be in 9 minutes that I can join. You can only join just before your group, and then we'll sit through and watch, you know, my group's runs, but they changed the timing on the groups a bit, so it got a bit confusing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as a test run. The worst thing I could do would be to crash the car. Yeah, it's a good question. So the attempt-wise, so I get my main attempt here, and if I finish my run, that's my attempt. But if I crash or can't finish it for some reason, I guess I could wave it off purposefully. I could go again at the end, but I'd love to avoid doing that. I'd love to avoid that. There shouldn't, it seems like a few folks have dropped, so there shouldn't be a lot of bumping or anything like that. Let me jump out of there. Go to this view here. So this is kind of the current order and results and everything. This is the order, actually. So if you can see it, and I'll zoom in a little bit on this. This is my group that we're about to go qualify with. So this is my group. So Jacob Fredrickson will be the first one. I'll be the 4th one out. And get my laps, and then we've got a whole other group of folks. I'll sit and watch as well. Why not? And then we would get a chance if there's available spots at the end to. If there's some spots at the end, I could go again if I crash. But I think I've pretty much easily got it in the race. So to crash would be a very silly thing to do. All right, I can join the server now. So let me do that while we're here to make sure that all works. Oh yeah, you got the menu music. It's so good. I love the Automobilista 1 menu music. This is Automobilista 1, if I didn't say that already. Automobilista 1. It's not a sim I play enough these days. There we go. Yeah, it's not a sim I play enough these days. It's still great and is a ton of fun, but it just takes these kind of things to there's so many things competing at the same time, so it's tough to find the reasons to always come back to it. But the ISO folks, I put a link to their website and everything in the description. They run a lot of different leagues, and you know, it's a very a group that's been doing stuff for a long time, so they're pretty safe bet if you're into historic vintage type racing. They do a lot of formula racing, a lot of IndyCar stuff, classic kart. I took a look at a couple of their mods in the past, the 73 SAC mod as well as this 87 mod. So this is the current order, and let me see if I can make this make sense. Preliminary qualifying results. Brian Janik on the pole with a 4-lap average of 2:10.322. So based on what I just did, I would be floating here around the 5th, 6th, 7th mark, which I think I'd be happy with. 2-3 rows back, not too bad. Jason, I have to thank a bunch for getting me involved with this, for actually making myself commit to it. And he's doing the comms and everything on the official stream of it all. So he qualified 4th so far, which is great. But yeah, I'd be happy really with a top 10. I think that puts you in front of most of the chaos on race day, hopefully, and means I can get a good start. But yeah, so far 25 qualifiers, and then I think after this session there'll be 33. So it should be hopefully a good one for me. But hoping for those 208s. I won't be distraught if I can't quite get it. But on the server now, and I suppose we'll watch the different qualifiers as they go out. It's a good question. Why do they measure qualifying in miles per hour? I don't know. I don't know if I could tell you that. I think that was just an easy way to communicate speed to the general public. If you say, hey, that car went 150 miles per hour and the other car went 155, that's just an easy way to quantify the speed. So I would imagine that was it. Because, I mean, obviously they were timing cars. You have to time them to get the speed. So I think as well, and I'm not super familiar with the like land speed records stuff, but I think that was always done. Land speed records were always done in miles per hour. And so it just helps give you that frame of reference. But I'm sure some others know better. Well, yeah, so it's one of the interesting facts that David brings up, that in 1987, the winning car was an 86 March. I would argue that the Lola was the best car in 1987, and Mario Andretti, another one of those that slipped away from him. That's just another one of those. In this mod, I think the 87 March is better than the 86, but they all take a good setup. I've been working on a setup all week. I have to thank, as well as Jason, for getting me involved with this. I have to thank Richard for giving me his car. There were only a couple cars left, and I suppose he was interested in seeing how I'd do. So Richard Wilkes, who's actually in the server as well for this session, he gave me his entry. So I have a pretty competitive car, which I very much thank, as well as he helped me out with some setup stuff. But I've been tuning on the setup the past few weeks, or past few days, just to try to get something that's stable. And this week, assuming I get into the race and everything, it will certainly turn into a look towards the race itself and actually practicing for that. I've done pretty much zero race practice at this point, but there's not been a big reason to up until now. Yeah, I think Tractor's got it right. I'm pretty sure that's why they use miles per hour, because it is a lot easier to tell 150 miles an hour from 150.5 instead of like 0.001 of a second. Yeah, so they're doing, the way the ISO League works is they only allow the real entries to take part. So every car that actually entered and raced are the cars that are entered and raced. You can't create your own entry, if that makes sense. So the yeah, you can. It's one of the things that makes it interesting. I think they sometimes try to put some of the faster drivers in slower cars, and I don't know exactly how that all works for the season stuff. I don't know how folks got the cars they got for this. All I know is this was like the only car open to me that was competitive, so I took it. I tried a few of the other cars, and it's really tricky to qualify in like the 85 car, which is an option for this. Fun mod, and it's a mod that you can try out. It's on Race Department and everything. Being mentioned on the stream, very good. I hope I don't make a fool of myself and I can actually turn a consistent run. But I think we're waiting here for Jacob to go out on his run, and we'll see how he can do. I don't know if I'll get a good. Well, I guess I can look at the spreadsheet as well to see how he's doing. But hasn't left the pits just yet. I think the server should is just closing now, so it should be a couple minutes, and then we'll go out. But this will be fun. I think the race, I'm really... oh, Jacob, good luck to you as well. I'm going to watch you. I'm excited to do the race for this. I've never done... I mentioned right at the start of the stream, I don't think I've ever done an online Indy 500, believe it or not. I never did the iRacing ones with the modern car. Not that I can remember. I've done online races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but I've never done the 500. So I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be equal parts a learning experience, because I've never raced at this league. I've never raced a race with this this mod. So I have a lot of work to do this week just to make sure I know how to do pit stops and know how to work in traffic and stuff. I'm hoping there'll be a lot of folks practicing this week, so I can practice slipstreaming and passing and all that. But then, yeah, just going fast for 2.5 hours. I hope there's not a lot of caution on the race day, but I suppose it's always possible during the race, so it'll be good. Like with any of these things, I always just hope to be there at the end, and then you can see what happens from there. But no idea. I mean, there's a few folks that have qualified towards the top. Right now, it's Brian Janik on the pole. And, I mean, at least in quali pace, they're extremely fast. Brian is extremely fast. And I don't know if he'll be able to carry that into the race. But if he can, then it doesn't feel like I stand a lot of chance to win. But to win would be unreal. Just to get in the race is what I'm here to figure out today. And then see if I can put it all together. The run itself should be pretty straightforward. Do need to adjust the car a little bit. Like you saw in my test run there, the rear bar mostly. Just get into understeer out of turns 2 and 4. So just dialing that out by stiffening the rear a bit, and then otherwise it's mostly driving technique. These cars require a sliding technique. It feels a little dirt tracky. I've seen the faster guys doing it too, though, so it seems like the fast way to drive these is to actually slide the car a bit and actually, you know, hang it out around the corners. But you don't want to slide too much, because you can really heat up the right rear and then end up spinning out quite easily. If you don't slide a lot, you'll overheat the right front and then start understeering a lot more. So it takes that balance to do it. You also can't touch the apron at all. I know they ran down there in real life, and I have no idea how the angles and everything compare. The circuit, it's nice. It's an actual, you would have seen already the warm-up lane version of the circuit, or without the warm-up lanes, with the combined apron with the track. So it's authentic, but it's a very severe banking change. So if you get the left front onto that, you can really upset the car, and it's almost impossible to save. So you want to drive on that white line, but not the yellow one. There we can see the corner here. So you just want to get the left front on that white line if you can, and not the yellow one. But a nice version of the Indy circuit. I'm very impressed with it. No idea how things like AI would be with this, but it's perfect for an online race. It is very hard to drive these cars fast. It's been fun trying to get up to speed with them. The first day when I jumped in, I was quite a few seconds off the pace. And that was a lot of setup, but also driving technique that I've been able to work on over the week. So it's been a fun thing. And to do it around the month of May, so we got a few folks watching the race from up here, doing some Indy stuff around the month of May. The past few years I've done different types of racing for the Indy 500s. So this feels like a good fit. Definitely a labor of love, these mods and everything. All right, it should be starting here any second. Waiting for first driver to go out, and I'll be the 4th one to go out. So it's Jacob Fredrickson up first here. Yeah, the no pit speed limit would probably hurt the AI. You're right. Well, I'd say, yeah, so the comment is some people like AMS1 better than AMS2. The driving physics and experience of driving the cars is very good and holds up extremely well. I personally, this is my personal opinion, I like the physics in AMS1 a lot more than AMS2. I think it just drives better, car for car. There's some cars that are better and worse in each, but for just raw driving, AMS1 feels better. But the whole package, I've been enjoying, obviously, I've made so many videos about it, but I've been enjoying AMS2 a lot lately. So it's tough to say something negative about one without it sounding like you don't like it, but it's just, I do think the physics in AMS1 feel nicer to my taste, but the whole package, it's tough to beat AMS2 right now. So, but luckily you can have both of them installed, and AMS1 must be going for pretty cheap these days. So I recommend, if you've never tried it, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's kind of that spiritual successor of the first R Factor sim. Ooh, and all the cars just disappeared. Why did that happen? Oh, there we go. I think they reset the server for some reason. Going to qualifying private. So we get to watch Jacob Fredrickson do his run. Make sure I load my setup here. It's already loaded. That was scary for a second. I've done some online racing in AMS1 before. Back with the AMS unofficial league, I did some 50s Grand Prix stuff with them, so it's definitely a fun sim for the online racing with leagues and stuff, especially if you can find one. All right, should be starting here any second. We're just waiting for the actual session to start. I think there's a couple or a minute time countdown or something like that. Appreciate folks jumping in here today. It's going to be hopefully a quick stream. Definitely not like the usual thing where I'm doing a full race or anything like that, but should be hopefully fun to just get a nice run in. Here comes Jacob coming out. All right, so first driver. I think the weather conditions are fixed for all of this, but to be honest, I don't quite know. So this is Jacob Fredrickson. He's Swedish, and he's racing Ponche Racing. I'm not sure who drove this car in real life. It looks like Derek Daly's helmet. We'll see, but yeah, this is a March 87 Buick, so it's the same chassis that I'm running, but a totally different engine. Much more unique sound. And I'll be able to relay the laps. The time that you see... Hold on, let me fix that real quick. Although I hope I don't forget to add it back in. I'll get rid of my my speed calculator. I did make in SimHub a little speed calc so that I can show you my lap speeds in real time. All right, he's on his first lap. Slightly wide through the first corner. But not so bad. If you can keep the speed up, you can actually run a pretty wide line and still do a good lap. It's so cool to do this like full qualifying thing. They've been running for, I mean, it started like a couple of hours ago with the first drivers to go. Just gonna slide it into the turn number 4. Come across to get the first lap. So we'll see what he got here. Lap number 1, 2:07.483. So he's on pace for the top 10 He's flirting with the top 10 right now. It is quite the slip angle. The cars slide quite a lot. That 207.4 is good enough for top 10, but he's got to hold it up. Now, the cool thing with these cars is that they do hold their speed. So, unlike modern day where, you know, every lap is slower than the last, I've been actually very consistent. As long as you don't overheat the tires, my fourth lap is often my fastest one, so it's kind of fun in that way. But he comes across the line for the second lap. A little bit slower. Oh no, faster actually. Sorry, faster. Of course, lower time is faster. So a 2:08.439. So he's on a 207.9 average, and that would put him in the top 10. He's actually up to 8th overall right now. My fastest time, I have done some 2:10s, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that kind of time here today, unless things just feel really good and I feel like pushing it. But it's quite easy to crash when you're doing the 2:10s for me with my setup, so. I hope not to. I kind of already bought myself into the race in a way. Richard Wilkes gave me this car. It was originally his car for the race, so I feel like I've already done that one. All right, third lap there. It's a 2:08.3, so he's getting faster. So he's up to a 2:08.1 average. You know, I honestly don't know if the cars will drive like this during the race with the sliding or not. I haven't done much race practice yet, but yeah, they are a bit slidey. All right, coming out of turn 4, he gets his 4 laps. That's good. It's always good to get your 4 laps in. He's going to come across the line. This is going to be a top 10 qualifying time, I think. All right, 4-lap average of 2:08.281. Jacob Fredrickson in 6th. Oh, and spins it out on the cool-down lap. All right. So 6th overall. Really good time. All right, Maximilian up next. Really good. Top 6 time. I am running an H pattern with the gearbox. Yep. We'll see. Maximilian needs to go out. I don't know if I'm on a replay or not. Here he goes. He's going to be heading down to the pits here. So laying down the hammer with the first run, setting a time for us to beat, at least in this session. Ah, the KFC car. Hemmelgarn Racing Team. So this is Maximilian Butrovsky. I believe that's how you'd pronounce it. Apologize if I've butchered your name, but it's got the Colonel on the front and everything. So he's driving a 87 Buick as well. So same combination that Jacob Fredrickson just drove. Rich Fogler's car, okay. Birdman. All right, so he's going to come around turn 4 and get the green flag. So Jacob Fredrickson just took this car to a top 6 starting spot preliminary, 2nd row of the grid. We'll see what Maximilian... Oh, he hits the wall. Now, you can get away with that a little bit. You can't really get away with it. The car is definitely damaged, but I've been able to drive it. I've forced myself to finish runs if I scrub the wall a little bit, willpower style, just to make sure I can, you know, finish the run and get into the field. But it'll definitely be handling slightly different. You can see he misses the apex there in turn 3. No, he spins it out and crashes. That's going to be run over. Run over for Maximilian. That's tough. Hopefully he can go again at the end of this session and get himself on the grid. But all right, Dave Miller's up next. So I'm the next car after Dave here. All right, Dave Miller is up then. He's driving AJ Foyt's, or one of AJ Foyt's cars. I think Foyt had 2 or 3 cars in this race. but it's 87 March as well. You can see a trend here, 87 March, but it's a Chevy V6. This should be a good combination. This should be a good combo. We'll see how well Dave Miller can do. I don't know. I was looking through the field at folks I know. I think I've raced or I know Richard just because of the mods and things. Anders Nielsen seems familiar, but I'm not too familiar with him. And then Jason, I just know because he's reached out to me before about doing this. But most of the drivers in the field I haven't raced with. I know they have a lot of good races here with this league. So I'm very excited to hopefully get into this and race with them all. All right, Dave Miller's gonna come get the green flag. British driver Dave Miller. Whoa, really flicks it into turn 1. Let's hope he can have a bit better luck than George Snyder did in real life. All right, gets it through turns 1 and 2. Looks like a little bit wide, but successfully through, which is always good. I'm about to run next, so I don't know if I've made it in yet. But I am up next. Bit wide through turn 3 there. Boys, keeps it off the wall. Just keeps it off the wall. All right, Miller comes out of turn number 4. We'll see his first lap. Bit wide in some of the corners, but a successful lap nonetheless. So lap number 1 comes in. 44.348, so it's a 202. Puts him 21st overall right now. #21st overall out of the 26 qualified drivers at this point. So he's doing well to get into the field. I think he'll be able to get in if he can just keep the run together, maybe improve a little bit. All right, comes through turn 4 there. We'll see his second lap. So lap number 2, a bit better. 43.8. Still trending for that 21st starting spot, up to a 204 flat average. .204 flat average right now for 21st, but that'll be plenty. I don't think there's enough drivers that are going to redo runs that could bump all the way up to 21st, but certainly if you're in that bottom 3 or 4, if you're under 200 miles an hour, I think you're on the chopping block for the time being. All right, coming across the line for lap number 3. He's got one more lap, and then I'm up. Oh no, he spins it. David Miller crashes out. Man, the 2 immediately in front of me have crashed, which does not bode well for myself. Hopefully, I can do a bit better. All right, I am up. Best of luck to myself. All right. Can you wish yourself good luck? I don't know. All right, 4 clean laps. I don't need to do anything too crazy to get into this race, and I'm more likely to bin it going for the pole. But I would like to show well here today, so we'll see. But we'll just get this one half of an out lap and then start the run. Just want to be careful on this out lap not to overheat the tires. Just take it easy through turns 3 and 4. All right, maximum concentration time. Hopefully I can come away with something to show for this. We'll get the green flag this time to start the run. Hopefully get up to 230. A little bit wide there. All right, not the best. But car is under me right now. All right. Conservative first lap. I think it'll be hopefully decent, but it might be a bit slow. Come across the line. 209. Oh boy, a bit faster than I thought. Drift out nice and smooth. Just want to keep the speed up. Car feels perfect right now. I don't need to change anything yet. A bit wide here into 3. All right, keeping the speed up. Going to raise the rear bar just a couple clicks, just to help it turn. Don't want to understeer. Big lift. It's another 209. Bit of understeer there. A lot of understeer coming out of 2. Give it a bit more rear bar. Throw it into turn 3. Still understeering a bit there. All right, one more lap. Bit stiffer on that rear. Lost a little bit of speed that lap, down into the 208s. Just don't hit the apron. A little bit late on the turn in for 2. Big lift to get it to hug down, 2/10 off. Right, out of turn 4. Head down to the line. Come on. All right. 2:08.5. All right, slowed down over the run. Slowed down at each lap, but I'm super happy with that. I'll have to look. I'll look at the whole thing in a second to see where that puts me average-wise. But I think I did a few 42-second laps, which is great. I have a feeling that'll put me pretty well in the front. I'm just going to take this in lap. I didn't die. If you can't tell, I am very relieved right now. It's crazy how just mentally doing 4 laps like this can be very anxiety-inducing. Just, I've done about probably 300, 400 laps so far this week preparing for this, and to do it for real is always just a little bit more hectic, a little bit harder. Really bumpy here in turn 4, coming to the pits. Oh yeah, I don't think I'd be able to qualify. So Brian Janik, who's on the pole, it's certainly he's very good at this, but I think the Lola is a tick better than this March is, so he does have a little bit of an advantage there. But I'm so happy to have finished that. Let's look at who was next. Anders was next, so we'll get to Anders here. Put it on Anders while I recuperate for a second. All right, so let's see here. First lap I did was a 43. Hold on, I can show you this. I don't even have to just tell you. All right, here's the current results, or my results and everything. We're a 39 here, if you can see it. So first lap I did was a 43 flat, not too bad, a 209 flat that turns into there. 42.8 on the second lap by, which is a 209.9. Well, not bad. I almost hit a 210. Third lap, that put my average up to a 209.4. Third lap was another 43 flat, pretty consistent. brought me back down to or that was a 208.9, brought me to a 209.3. And the last lap was a bit slower. I understeered quite a lot in turn 2 specifically, but a 43.1. So average 209.1 puts me provisionally 5th. Provisionally 5th. Which, if we look at the current provisional grid, I'm right behind Jason. So that would put me in the middle of row 2. I really hope somebody else sneaks up there, actually. I would like to not be in the middle. But we'll figure it out. At least I'm on the second row for the time being. I'm happy that's happy that's over to an extent. We'll watch the rest of the runs together. I don't want this stream to be 5 minutes, but I'm very, very happy with that run. I think I could have gotten more out of it, but just to get a consistent run in. I can focus on the race now. 5th out of 25 or 6 cars at the moment. There should be over 33 qualifying. So Anders here is on a pretty good run right now. He's playing with the top 10. That was the last lap he did was a 208 flat. Or he's on a 208 average right now. 208 average for Anders. Yeah, there are more than 33, so there's going to be a little bit of bumping here towards the end. Big relief to have qualified. Alright, comes across the line, complete his run. Last lap there. So 208.2 average. Last lap was a 208.8, so he sped up a lot. Up to 8th overall for Anders there. Yeah, so a good question in the chat. Why did my car start understeering? So the thing that happens is your tires dramatically heat up over the course of a run. They also wear a little bit as well, but it's mostly the temperatures. Richard Wilkes is going out now for qualifying. We'll watch Richard here. So the tires change drastically on the run. And especially getting into the second and third lap, you're also burning off a bit of fuel, which can help you if you've got the car set up for it. But yeah, your tires are heating up quite a lot, so they just get slippery and slidey. And I'd probably, if I got the turn into the corner right every time, I would heat up the tires evenly to a point that the car will stay pretty neutral. But I think I was just being conservative a bit and not really chucking it in, and I wasn't really on the rear end of the car as much as I should have been. So I started heating up the right front a lot more, which just makes the whole thing worse. So out of all my runs I've done, offline and stuff preparing for this, that one went pretty well. Sometimes you can get it in a pretty bad way, and I stayed ahead of it a bit with the tools, stiffening the rear roll bar just to help get it to turn around. If you think of the car kind of squats when you get through the corner. And so if you stiffen the rear, it can't quite lean into that rear as much, so it helps push it. At least that's how I think of it, but it helps push it to the left a bit. But if you do that too much early on, you'll have too much rotation and slide or worse, spin out. All right, Richard here. At least, I know he at least has his hands in the creation of it. I was about to give him praise for having created this mod. Spins out and crashes. It's too bad for Richard. Man, a lot of crashes in this session. I've been watching this most of the day, just kind of on the side, and it's been a fairly clean running so far. All right, but we got Aaron Curtis. Just a few more to go in the proceedings for today. I know it's dramatic when they crash. You feel for them. Yeah. So the way I think of it's funny how the roll bars work, because on a road circuit, they do the same thing, but you just use them differently. But the way I think of it for IndyCar oval racing, front roll bar, making it softer will help you turn in the corner, but it might also help in the middle of the corner get too much turn. So you want to be careful. It's nice to drive a stiff front if you can get the car to turn. I always try to make the front as stiff as you can without it understeering. But if you're having trouble when you turn into the corner, it doesn't want to find the white line like we maybe saw here with Aaron. Kind of drifted up the track there. If the car doesn't want to find that white line, that might be a sign that you need to lower that front roll bar a bit. Make it softer to help it turn in. The rear is all about the exit of the corner. It does stuff on the entry, but it's more that mid to late corner. Does the car rotate or not? Oh, and he's a bit wide there. Now keep in mind, the roll bars are your fine adjustments. So if the setup isn't in the box, they're not going to do... You can't really tune the car with just the roll bars to the point that it would make up for any kind of setup deficiency. So when you're testing a car for something like this, it's important to have the roll bars be in somewhat of a neutral position. Maybe a bit stiff on the front, but not all the way. Oh, it's Aaron as well. Man, a lot of crashes today, but he noses it or gets it into the barrier there. They are really accelerating the safer barrier development. So Aaron's our next victim there. All right, we've got a few more. They're going to do some reruns here at the end. So Felipe Elias is next. And it looks like Felipe might not be in here. So David Saber, who I believe had a crash earlier today. Hopefully you can have a better second run. Keeping me in fifth. I know I'm destined for this middle position. All right, we'll watch David Saber here. I believe David is the last to go out of the original runs and everything. So hopefully he can have a solid run here. David's driving a Lola 87 Cosworth. This is a fast car. If we look at the current grid, this is the combination that Brian has on the provisional pole at the moment. So you can see David really warming up his tires there, but he's going to try to turn in a good one here, I imagine. With the right setup, this car can be the fastest car. Oh, either a lot of oversteer or he's really aggressively trying to warm up the tires or something, but we'll see. Coming across the line. Yep, it's Heimrath's car. Coming to turn number one. A bit wide there. He didn't quite get the turn in like you'd want it. Ah, 2x2 start. Okay. That helps. I guess I'll be on the inside then, which is nice. All right, so David gets through turns 1 and 2, but it was a bit wide coming into 1. He gets it a bit better there for turn 3. Gets it right out to the wall. He's going to come to the line. We'll see what kind of pace he can put in. It looks a little bit tentative on some of the corners there for David. But he turns that in. It's a 44.3, so it's a 202. It's currently provisionally 24th. He's over that 200 mile per hour mark, which is, again, I think that's, you got to be in over the 200 mile per hour to actually qualify for this. I like the look of the Lola with the big windscreen on the front that goes halfway down the nose. This second lap seems a lot cleaner from him. I don't know if he backed off more or he was able to just get a better lap going. But yeah, 43.9, so it gets into the 43s. It's a 204.8 mile per hour lap. Gets him up to, he's still 24th on his average, 203.9. I wish I could hear Jackie Stewart commenting on this. Nicely does it. The first lap, he was a bit all over the place, but he's really cleaned it up here on the second and now third lap. This lap looks like it's going to be decent as well. Might be able to haul him up the grid a bit. Quite a few folks get a couple good laps in and then their car really leaves them. So it'd be interesting to see. That was a even faster yet still. 43.8, 204.3. It's up to 22nd overall. So this is it's a good run. You have to hand it to somebody that has a tough first lap and then just keeps in it to keep going. It's easy to kind of get down on your whole run then. All right, and scrape it through turn 4. So David's going to come complete his run. Ooh, I don't know what he's doing coming across the line. Maybe victory wobbles. Might save those for after you cross the line, David. But 44 flat on the last lap. 23rd provisional time for David there. All right, so that is all of your qualifiers for their at least their first attempts. And safe to say I've gotten in the field for next weekend. Although it may be still up to which spot I'll start in. But I'm going to cut the stream there. It's going to be a quick one for today. There's still some reruns that some folks are doing. If you're interested in seeing the final runs and folks, I've put in the pinned comment for this, the official broadcast from Jason and everything, that they'll be covering the final runs and everything that'll take place today. But I appreciate folks joining in. I know this was kind of a short thing, impromptu, but next weekend I'll be running the race itself, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to doing an online Indy 500. I think it's especially one with the vintage that I enjoy, late 80s, early 90s. It should be fun. So I appreciate the ISO folks for inviting me today, and appreciate all of you for tuning in for the run. I hope it was fun to watch a few qualifying attempts. And I'll see y'all next weekend.